Hello there. Today is another busy day. Obviously, every day here is busy. We've got some more songs to work on. We've got meetings in the morning. I've got a band call in the morning. Can't really show you that one because we don't work together. Got things to open. We've got a package to open here, which I will do shortly, and some breakfast to make. So let's get on with it. So we've got a package delivered today. I won't go through the rigmarole of opening this again on camera. I did this in the take before, and it got me rather angry because it took me a while. It wasn't actually this jiffy bag. It was this weird fucking thing that went round the box that I could not get this off. It was like glued to the box. I didn't realise there's like a little tab. If I'd have just been patient and looked at the little tab, I'd have realised, doink, I could have pulled it. But no, that's not me. So what have I bought? Well, I don't remember buying it, but that happened. I bought this little mat. Nope, that's a joke. I bought this sticker. No. I bought this resin, and it's real resin. It's real resin, which is very cool. But that might give you a clue. Why would I need resin? Well, I need resin because I've bought myself a tiny, tiny, tiny guitar bow, which is quite interesting. So I will try this today, maybe even live on here for the first time, a guitar bow. I just thought it was interesting. We've got this Christmas thing coming up. I mean, this is a total potential waste of money, but I use EBOs, which are basically an electronic version of that, all the time for various production things. In fact, there's that weird fly thing on the Abracadabra. That uses an EBO, just swelling it in with the volume pedal while pulling the string. So this might be quite good, and I thought for that Christmassy thing coming up, who knows, this could be the only thing I use. Maybe I'll just throw all the plectrums away, and this is just who I am now. I'm just that bow guy. So let's do it. Right, so someone asked me, how do I make the salad dressing that I made? So, this is not a tablespoon, but there is a tablespoon. No, wait. Tablespoon. Very, very easy. 3 of these, 3 olive oils. You don't have to use all of this. Normally that's for a bigger salad. But 3 olive oils to 1 white wine vinegar. There's a couple of secret ingredients here. Then I have this. You may not have this. This is sea salt, and I don't recommend use normal salt, table salt. Use sea salt. This has garlic in it, so if you can get hold of one of these, or just get some pre-done garlic, maybe. A tablespoon of mustard powder. Sorry, a teaspoon of mustard powder. And then you have 2 secret ingredients. One is ketchup, which I'm not going to use. Ketchup, like in Spain, is catsup. Weirdly, goes really well. And then the other thing is a teaspoon or a couple of teaspoons of honey, which again I'm not going to do. But and then just finish it off with a squeeze of lemon, which we always do upwards. Let it run through our fingers so that we catch all the pips. There you go. So that is how I make that little salad dressing. And then from there it's really easy. You get obviously a bowl. Chuck your salad in there. Done. I mean, you know this bit. If you don't know this bit, then you shouldn't really be allowed on the internet. There you go. Dressing. Then here I have prepared some steak. So let's move with the shit. Fuck off. So let's get the steak off here. I always overdo steak because I like it overdone. Actually, I like blooded steak as well, but no, I'm good without that moment. Just get some peppers, slightly fried peppers. Say hello, Waypoint. Waypoint's here. He's hungry. So it's not my fault he's hungry. He is nonetheless hungry. So. See, people would say that this is overdone, but they can go fuck themselves. This is French. En français, we overdo everything in France, especially the politics and the women. Get them really pregnant. That's a joke, by the way. We don't. There you go, a little bit of steak. And ici ça va bien. A little bit more lemon. Done. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So it's slowly turning into one of those days. So I was going to do the second verse of Abracadabra on the piano. Just like the other one, maybe a little bit of extra stuff sprinkled in, because I like to do that. I don't like to have like repeating parts. I like them to change in some way. And I'll think a bit about that, and I will think on that, because today the council have sent people, I call them people, I'll leave it at people, to cut these like big trees, because we have like pylons overhead, so like things that carry electricity, and because they're growing, the trees are growing taller, they're growing closer and closer to these cables. There's about 5 meters between the top of this fucking tree, or the top of all of those trees, and the pylon or the overhead cables. So, but they've decided to do it today, and they can't not do it today, because if they don't do it today, I get a massive fine apparently. And it's fucking loud. I don't know if they're still doing it, actually. Oh, I can't hear it now. I may have a window. Oh, an opportunity has arisen. But knowing me, it's going to take me a considerable amount of time to do what I need to do. And well, it's start again, because it sounds like ah. And I'm in a soundproof studio. Like, my walls are about 2 foot thick. And I can still hear this really annoying, and because it's a really quiet part, there's a lot of nuance to the part. The mics are really cranked, like the gain on the mics are really cranked on the preamps, really cranked, so you can get all the little nuances of the piano in. Can you hear? I stopped again. This is it with the door shut. Still just about hear it. It's really fucking annoying. Why today? So we're going to switch songs. We're going to switch to Carrion from Call of Duty Black Ops 2's Carrion's from Transit, isn't it? Yeah, Transit. So we're going to switch to that, and we're going to do the bass on that, and so I'm going to load that up now and dig into some bass instead, because there's no microphones for that. Well, there's no microphones yet for the bass, and I've still yet to track the bass. So I'm going to go through that. I did this the other day, and I had to send it off to be okayed, and it's come back okayed, and so I'm able to do the bass now instead. So annoying, because I had today to do to finish Avocadabra's verses, but alas, fuck that one right up, didn't I? Now, as you're aware, I couldn't do the piano today, but what I could do instead was the bass on Carrion, so I did. And my bass is quite unique, and I've only started doing it. I'm not sure I've had a release actually. I've worked with bands where I've done this a lot, but I don't think I've had a release since I've started doing it like this. No, I don't think I have. I don't think the Amora Down album had bass like this. I can't remember. But so essentially, my bass tone. So I record a bass like this, playing into a preamp, a 1073 preamp, and into Pro Tools. That's one bass guitar, normally with a plectrum, and my plectrum, I normally like a thick, slightly thicker plectrum. Like, I don't know if it's not probably going to focus, is it? I don't know. But anyway, it gives you an idea. It's quite a thick plectrum. I like to get a little bit of bite in the pick, but basically want a fairly mellowish sound, decent sounding, solid bass sound. That will be important later, probably tomorrow by the time I actually show you what I'm going to do with this. But over the top of that, so that's being played with the plectrum. Over the top of that, I play fingerstyle bass. And the interesting thing with that is that it's super low tuned. So it's tuned, this is in AEA GB, tuning. So this is tuned, the E, the second string E is tuned an octave down on that bass. Virtually to the point where there isn't a note, like my tuners find it really hard to actually detect a note. There is a note, but you can't really hear it. And essentially what I do with that bass is I turn off all of the bass and just leave the clicky treble end. And it sounds very odd, and I did a TikTok video thing that showed you a little bit of that bass sound. But essentially this is Carrion. I can play it, a little bit of it here, the bridge. So this is the main bass sound on its own here. Well-rounded kind of. It's got treble, but it's well-rounded, and this will change tomorrow because essentially what I've got here is just the raw bass track. Now, at the moment, it's just going through some shitty Ampeg thing next door just to get a bass amp sound. Tomorrow, I can show you the entire process tomorrow, which might be quite exciting because I've never shown it before. Which is we're going to split that bass into 4, just this one bass into 4 basses. So we're going to have a DI bass, which is just no effect at all, which gives me just the sub. I want the sub frequency information from that. We have this model RBI Sans amp, which is kind of a dirty kind of sounding thing. We have another Sans amp over there, a Tech, what's it called, Tech 21? Yeah, Tech 21 bass driver Sans amp over there. And then we have another Sans amp, a PSA Sans amp, that goes into a really special unit that not many people have. And it gives you this kind of weird movement in the bass. And then to that, so that's 4 basses. Then we add this thing. Now this is it's what I call the click bass, and it sounds on its own like this. Where's a good example of that? No low end at all. But when you add that to the actual bass, now this is the cool bit. Trying to get this took ages here. This low riff here. Carry. Essentially what I've got there is the ability to blend in those clicky basses a little bit in that section, really to get a percussive sound. The reason that took so long is I have 2 things to keep into account there. I have to be exactly locked in with the drums, because I don't edit, like I don't go into Pro Tools later and like edit it. I'd rather play it 100 times and lock in with the drums flawlessly. So I've got to keep the drums perfectly in tune, in time, and I've got to keep the bass perfectly in tune with the other bass, which may not be perfectly in tune, but it doesn't matter. I've got to keep my clicky basses tuned to that bass, not to A440, which it would be, but to that bass. And so this took an hour and a half just to do this low riff section here. And I would turn these down a bit, maybe like without them, with them, you get a real sense of the bass, like string going, like the fucking rumbling of the string. It's so fucking cool, and I don't see anyone doing this. And I think why? It's I mean, it's hard, but it's worth doing. So now I do it with everything. Well, in this genre, you know, this is what I would do for this. But tomorrow I'll show you that process if you want, and we can go through it together, because it's really different, and you'll see the difference then, and how we sculpt to make that bass sound. It might be a 15-minute clip just of me doing that before I what we call reamping it back in. So we send that dry bass that I recorded today through all of these amps and then back into Pro Tools. We call that reamping. Well, we didn't do it today, but we would normally remove the amp that's on the bass and then reamp just the bass. So we're reamping it, so with different amps. So if that's something you want to see, then I can definitely do that tomorrow. I'm going to have to do it anyway. hopefully be able to do the rest of that piano tomorrow as well. That would be good. So this is Carrion, and I love Carrion. I really didn't like Carrion when it came out in transit, and this is probably the song that drove me to want to remake the Call of Duty songs, because I just heard something in it that I was like, I could do something with that. Like, if it has to be me, and I have to do what I hear on my head to this song, because it's Clark Nova, isn't it, who did it? Who's a nice guy, but I'm not sure his voice ever really fit. I know he's just a mate of a few people, but I'm not sure he was ever really a singer per se. No, he did great on this, fine, but it was a bit irritating as well. But hopefully we can drag this into the 21st century. I think more than anything else with these vlogs, you're going to see the best laid plans, you know. It's like you can't really make plans when you are in the studio every day, because inevitably something is going to change, and you know, and that you know, I had no idea that they were going to be there today doing that stuff, so it's kind of annoying. So we adapt to that and we do something else, do something that needed to be done anyway, and was worth doing, and that's what we ended up doing. So I need to do the bass anyway. I think I've got 3 more songs of bass to do, and we're getting there, you know. And after that, it's vocals, synths, strings, big one for me because I love strings, and then vocals, then mix. So you're going to be here for the whole ride. And if you've bought one of your Patreon subscriptions, you'll probably see almost all of it, if not more projects as well, and the build up to our 12 Days of Christmas event, which would be great. So there's lots to come. Thank you for joining me today, and tomorrow we will attack that bass sound and hopefully some more piano, so that'd be good.